see, many of the things we call discipline in Africa, they are extremes. We're registering my little niece in school, my 2-year-old niece, and because I don't like to assume, I had to ask the teacher, okay, if by mistake, because she's 2 years and of course she's well potty trained, but sometimes when she gets into a new environment, she tends to study the environment a little bit, so she might by mistake pee on her body. So I asked the teacher, if this young lady now pees on her body in class, I hope you won't put her up in front of the whole class and tell them to sing for her. Because there was this particular event that I always remember when I was in primary school. I was in nursery class, then I was very young. I remember one time like that, it was a senior, I think the senior was in primary 5 or primary 4, I can't remember, but it's between 5 or primary 4. And we were on the assembly ground one day, and then they brought the senior, the parents, not even the school, the parents brought the senior to school, and then they asked the teacher and the headmistress to allow us sing for the senior. Why? He peed on his body while sleeping, and so we were asked to, gather around and then sing for him. I was not the victim, right? I was one of the mockers. So if myself that I was a mocker, I was not the victim, can remember this event vividly. I was at a very young age. I was in nursery class, maybe nursery 2 or thereabouts, and I can still remember vividly. I still have, a visual representation of that particular event in my head. That if I say that guy today, because it's a guy today, I will still, like, that song that we sang for him will sort of come to my mouth. Can you imagine what the person who was the victim would be going through? So many things that we call discipline in Nigeria, in Africa particularly, like Nigeria now, they are extremes. They don't, at the end of the day, they don't end up achieving the discipline that is also achieved in the child. So that kind of child, now the parents will grow up and start saying that, oh, my child is a shy person, my child is not expressive, my child likes to keep to himself. You had already demoralized the child at a very tender age. So how else do you expect the child to be? How? Someone that was stood up in, like, even people that were, it was in primary 4, I was in nursery 2, so I was thinking for someone that was in primary 4. Now imagine what will be happening, to the psychology of the child, and how that single event, that's about 5 minutes that we sang for this guy, but that 5 minutes, event, how it will, affect their self-esteem, affect their self-awareness, affect how they perceive and see themselves. So extreme disciplines, what they do is that they cause more damage than good. So before you inflict any extreme discipline on your child, you should ask yourself and look into that discipline well before you start imposing it on that child. You see, if at the end of the day what I want to achieve really be achieved, or I'll end up having a child who has been demoralized, or a child with low self-esteem, and then I'll have to start battling esteem issues with the child again. Let's think about discipline well. Discipline is supposed to be with an end goal, not just to mock someone.